Let's put that genie back in the bottle.
Paints with the colors of the wind, bitch.
It's time for two finger point.
Power daddy.
Our shoes are in the pond.
Extra magic hours, which we in turn called extra tragic hours.
People called him the naked mole rat.
Did you really just two finger point?
Here are your hosts, Amber and Kylie.
All right, everyone, welcome back to Two Finger Point. I'm Kylie.
And I'm Amber.
We have a very special guest with us today. We have Melissa.
Attention all
also known as
DCPs,
Melissa and
cast
Magic,
members, and all other
she's the
Disney
host
fanatics.
Of the
Do you
Magic
have an interesting
Monorails
story
podcast.
related to
Thank
Disney?
you so much for
Maybe
joining
you'd
us
love to
today.
share what it was like working for the
You're
mouse,
welcome, and
or
thank
why
you so
Disney
much for
holds a
having me.
special place in your heart.
Or maybe you want to give us the dirty details about your roommate and how awful they are.
News. Amber, what do you have
Right
for
into
us?
us. We'd love for you to share your story on the pod.
Disney
Or
fact
even
that I
have you
saw, it
share
kind of
your
popped up on
story
my
on the pod.
Facebook, so I mean,
That too.
it was being
Don't worry,
Facebook.
if
I
you
don't know
want to
totally
stay
how
anonymous, you
accurate it is,
can.
but it was
Chris
fun
from
and cute.
Orlando.
Reach out to us at
Somebody shared that in Disney
twofingerpointpodcast.com/contact
people actually
or
get
DM us
specific
wherever you're connected.
paper clips for working in these areas. And so what you get is it's just a paper clip, but it has the Disney like logo in metal on top of it. So it's like a fancy Disney paper clip, basically.
I wish we would have gotten something like that.
I know. I thought that was interesting. And it was kind of like something that you can keep and have, and not everyone gets. It's one of those, it feels like cast exclusive, Disney employee exclusive things that you have.
Yeah, that's super cute. Your aunt works for Disney, right?
Yeah, so I'm actually, the next time I see her, I kind of want to ask her if she's ever used any of these or if it's a myth or not. So I kind of I have a little backstage pass to kind of go ask her. So I'm going to let her confirm or deny if this is true.
Yes, you have to follow up for sure.
I love that.
Yeah. And then, so Kylie, you have some news about the Little Mermaid streaming release.
Yes, so everyone is very excited for this new release of The Little Mermaid on Disney Plus. It is available for streaming on Amazon Prime for purchase, but we are seeing a new trend with Disney. They are starting to release the day after. At least that's what the rumor is. They just did that with one of the most recent movies that came out. And we're expecting them to do that with this one. It was a big blockbuster, so they're probably going to hold out. So we're now expecting it to be September 18th. Disney has not confirmed that, but that's probably going to be what we're looking at.
It's so sad. I know. I was really looking forward to seeing this, and I was being lazy about honestly going to the movie theater to see it. I have gotten lazy in the sense of being able to watch movies in my home because I have all the streaming services. So I was kind of looking forward to this coming out in the summer and being able to see it. So I'm disappointed to have to wait until the fall, but I hope it is fall. I hope it is September that it does come because I am looking forward to watching this movie.
Yes. Have you gotten to see it, Melissa?
I have not. We're also kind of on the same boat. We rarely go to movies in the theater because of the streaming services. Mm-hmm. But also my daughter is a little finicky with going to movie theaters. She sometimes is totally into it for months and then sometimes she isn't. And to be honest with you, once she heard the soundtrack, she was no longer excited to go see the movie. So we plan to watch it at home. She, again, even though she's only 10, the original, she liked the songs better, partially because that was the movie she grew up to, so.
Right. And I could see a kid not really being into it. It's more Broadway kind of sounding now. And I could see a kid not being interested in that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I can see, I think we're kind of getting in that post-COVID world. And so things are going to go back to where they were. I'm sure they were releasing things more because we were all stuck at home. And now we're getting back to that. And before streaming, I feel like it was always 3 or 4 months before something would be released on video or DVD. So
yeah,
it's something we'll have to adjust to again.
But aren't we past that?
Way.
I feel... Well, I'm going to say, aren't we past that, though? I mean, after the pandemic and everything, it's kind of hard to revert back to what we were doing when you've gotten everyone accustomed to the streaming service and the way that you've been releasing movies. So it's hard. As an adult, we can understand, but I feel like kids were accustomed to this now, too. So even as these Disney movies come out, you're kind of disappointing kids at the same time, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to be more money because if we get back to that and you're used to it, then there's more initiative to go to the theater so they can make more money off of it.
I get it. I'm just with Melissa, and I don't want to go to the theaters anymore.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree. That's just probably the reasoning.
The biggest thing is too is like Disney Plus got Disney into a lot of trouble. Like from my understanding, numbers were fudged on the back end to make it look more successful than it was. So I think honestly, even though it might not be ideal for the consumer, right, they're probably trying to have to revert to that because that is what worked in the past. But it's interesting on what they pick and choose to revert back to.
Right. And I know they had big issues with Scarlett Johansson because they ripped her off. And then they did not do the same with Shang-Chi, and they paid out properly there. So it wasn't fair to her even more so. Yeah, they probably have to go back to the wagon wheel.
As they should.
All right. Well, to the parks where it's a little bit lighter and brighter. So we'll start over in Florida with Disney World. So over there, they have a Spider-Man headband that was released over in Disney World. It can be found at the Hat Kiosk in Tomorrowland. You also, if you find yourself at Disneyland instead of Disney World, you can also find this at World of Color in downtown Disney. So just like a breakdown of the headband. The headband itself, it's red with black velour lining, red and blue ears. So it's like it's split on the front and then it's all blue on the back with spider web print. And then you've got a puffy red bow with also black spider web print. And it's embellished with a Spider-Man face charm in the middle of the bow. Yeah, I thought that was cute and nice. I like that they're giving a little bit more variety in the ear. Not that they don't have variety, but these different like Marvel ears and different things like that. They had Hocus Pocus ears that are coming out. So I like that they're bringing some of these characters in and creating ears for them.
Yeah. A little bit of something for everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
The Spider-Gwen ones are my absolute favorite.
Oh, I haven't seen those. I need to check those out.
What color are they?
They're stunning. So they're black and white and hot pink, and then like a tealy turquoise. I can never really just know what the official color is of her, but the bow is that blue color, and the bow is actually like spider webbing material, so it's see-through. It is so cool.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, I see them.
Right.
These are fantastic. They have like a rocker girl vibe to them. It's very cool.
Yes.
I need to up my ear game. I've gone with some classic ones, and then I had like the black and gold ones at one point. I need to like expand and get some fun colored ones. I haven't done it yet.
Those are your ones then.
Exactly. I'm telling you, I think I may have to get these.
You're calling.
They really are.
Melissa had the cutest ones on 2 days ago. They're like Haunted Mansion themed. She was on live on TikTok and they were so cute.
Yes, the Fairy God Sisters, they are known for their more like Bridgerton style, Victorian almost looking color patterns, and they're just amazing. So I got the Haunted Mansion ones when they released a couple years ago. I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Nice. So would you say you're like do you collect like that ear headbands? Do you have like a collection of ears?
I used to. I actually used to have over, I think 50, but I only have 5 pair now.
Oh,
wow,
okay.
You really cut down.
I did. I have ADHD. So like if those of y'all who live that life, you know, like we are bingers for a long while until we decide no more and we move on to the next thing. And so I collected headbands and lounge slides for a little while. And then I decided that they're too much clutter. Again, that's our tendency. And so I got rid of a ton.
Nice. That's very cool though. So you're the connoisseur. So if we need to come to you for any ear knowledge, we'll come to you.
Yes.
Very cool. All right. So moving over to California, and holiday stuff has been released. So they've released their Christmas dates for this year. So things are going to kick off early in November 10th through January 7th this year. It seems they like to kick it off during the Veterans Day weekend. I guess that's a long weekend for a lot of people. So it's a good time for them to kick stuff off holiday wise. Things such as like snow-capped turrets will adorn Sleeping Beauty's castle. And apparently it snows at Disneyland in select areas like throughout the park, like at least once or twice a day. So I kind of did a little sleuthing research, and it says that it falls on Main Street sometimes between like 7:30 and 8:30. But I guess like when you get the park map for the day, it'll tell you the entertainment and it'll kind of tell you where it's going to snow. Or you could ask a cast member, hey, like, where's it going to snow today? And they'll probably point you in the right direction.
Fun.
So cool.
Yeah, but I thought that was really cool. Snow in California. So, I mean, at least in the lower parts of California, I should say. And then also in California Adventureland, they have something called Festival of Holidays, which is basically just like a place you can kind of walk around California Adventure and taste and sip a bunch of different foods. They get just a bunch of different drinks and snacks to try, and a bunch of new carts kind of get set out. I'll say I stumbled into this last year. I wasn't expecting to find it when I went around Christmas time, or actually it was after Christmas time. It was in January. And yeah, there were just carts everywhere with all kinds of different holiday drinks, like a buttered rum, like a Christmas punch, as well as, you know, non-alcoholic beverages like hot chocolates and things like that. But I'm a foodie, so that I could talk about this all day.
So it's like, how would you compare that to like the Food and Wine Festival?
It's definitely on a smaller scale. And I would say this is more, these are like hearty, maybe like junkier foods. Whereas I feel like Food and Wine Festival, you get like a mix of like a junky food and maybe like some fruits and different other things just because of wine pairings. Whereas this is just like, here, get your, I think one of them was like a brisket mac and cheese. That's really hearty and maybe not the healthiest thing.
Yeah.
More wintry foods versus like spring, summer foods for the wine festival.
Attention all DCPs, cast members, and all other Disney fanatics. Do you have an interesting story related to Disney?
Maybe you'd love to share what it was like working for the mouse, or why Disney holds a special place in your heart.
Or maybe you want to give us the dirty details about your roommate and how awful they are.
I mean, yeah.
Write into us. We'd love for you to share your story on the pod.
Or even have you share your story on the pod.
That too.
Don't worry, if you want to stay anonymous, you can. Christopher Marlando.
Reach out to us at twofingerpointpodcast.com/contact or DM us wherever you're connected.
We'll step into our next segment. So we just have some questions for Melissa. So Melissa is, for the listeners who have not met her yet, she hosts Magic and Monorails podcast. It's a wonderful podcast, and I'll let her tell a little more of her backstory, but she lives in Orlando and goes to the parks all the time. So she is your guru. So you moved with your family to be by all the parks, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what inspired that, and what's the experience been like so far for that?
Yeah. So are you guys familiar with the Wisconsin Dells by chance?
No.
Mm-mm.
It is known to have the world's largest indoor water park.
Oh.
I grew up going to the Wisconsin Dells because it was something that was very affordable and very close by where I lived in Madison. And we definitely enjoyed taking our daughter there. But the price point more than doubled in the last 5-10 years. So what used to be, $100 all-in day quickly turned into a couple $100, especially if you wanted to stay overnight. It would be close to $1,000 for a whole weekend.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm sure you can imagine where I'm going with this. Good old Frontier. I am an avid Frontier flyer. I actually have one of my best friends who flies first class religiously, now flying Frontier in Spirit because she has learned to appreciate the budget airlines for quick trips to Disney and just, those like escape moments. And we were able to find flights very affordably one weekend. And as a family, we were able to fly down and stay at All Star Music for less than if we were to drive up to the Wisconsin Dells, which was only 45 minutes away from where we lived. So then that kind of quickly became our thing. And then as soon as annual passes were re-released, we got our hands on those. And then from there, started flying down every month for a year, if not a couple of times a month. And you guys know the Disney magic is contagious, and it's unique in any way that you decide to connect with it. Some people like to connect to the parks and the rides. Some people like the food aspect of it. For me, it's a place that I felt safe traveling alone with my daughter to. And there was still a lot for us to explore. then we quickly decided that we were over Wisconsin winters. And long story short, it was 2 years of praying and planning about it. And we ended up moving. It'll almost be a year at the end of this August. So we're really excited about it, but it's still like a learning curve. We're a year in and we still have a lot to learn.
Yeah. You mentioned something that really stood out to me, the safety of taking your daughter alone. So did you deal with kind of some scary situations or just things you didn't feel safe with before that?
Great question. No, never. But I grew up traveling a lot with my mom. She was a flight attendant, so we went everywhere possible. We've been to, Puerto Rico, and it was just my mom and I solo traveling a lot. So I think just kind of experiencing firsthand, like what I would and wouldn't do with my daughter alone. I learned a lot from my own mother, both positives and negatives, but my daughter also has PTSD. So it was something where for her mental sanity and mine, I have a very short fuse that I am working very hard on as a parent. But just for her and I to be able to enjoy our time together, consistency and routine is most important, honestly, in any child's life, right? But at the time where masks were required, especially when you're standing in a dark place, it was a really big trigger for my daughter. And so, for us to be able to go and do anything really was a very big challenge. And Disney was kind of like her safe place in a way because she had grown up going there so often. That's just kind of how it fit with us during that time. So,
wow,
yeah.
That's beautiful. It's fun to hear about what Disney means to different people, and there's a big magic factor to it in different ways for everyone.
There is, yeah.
Do you feel like having such easy access to the parks, like Walt Disney World specifically, has it changed your experience from having to fly every time?
Yes. Amia and I will always say the magic has changed. It's still amazing, but it's different. I think the challenging thing for us is we love the excitement of like outfit planning our dining, and we don't really do that anymore because we can just roll out of bed and even go in our pajamas if we wanted to, right? Like it's a different experience. And obviously it's all about the mindset that you bring to the table. If we decide one day we are going to go all out and outfit plan and do a staycation, we will do that. But yes, it's definitely changed. And I guess the easiest answer is the magic is just different now.
Yeah, we totally get that because we were living there, and yeah, we totally know what you mean.
Yeah. And even now, because I just got my first Magic Key Pass here for Disneyland too. So we have more accessibility to it as well. And I feel the same way. I think the magic is just different. It's not gone. It's just there's a different experience going there now.
So being there, this is your first year. Have you learned any like tricks or secrets that you may not have known, being on a trip? You just now are just going for the day. So is there anything you've learned?
So many things, you guys. It is crazy. And, the hard part about especially sharing these things, especially on TikTok, is you'll get like a 50-50 response of, oh my gosh, you should totally not be sharing this secret because now everyone's going to hear about it. So I do think I struggle with, okay, like I always have to ask myself the question, would Mickey want me to share this info? And if not, then it's going to cause controversy and I'm not going to share it. So yes, there are tons of things that I've learned that unfortunately, because of that, that question I have to ask myself, I do keep a lot of it to myself, or, I have a private group, a private Instagram channel that's specifically meant for like my VIP people who, love Disney and want to connect with me. And they know that I'm truly genuinely doing it to help people, not to like for likes or views, right?
Right.
So, I think at the end of the day, a lot of the things that I've learned are focused on, using the DAS system, as well as for my daughter. And then as well as just little things about how to kind of avoid crowds and at what times to avoid crowds, because again, we really try to minimize any additional, chaos for her, especially if she's having an off day. One of the tips that I'm known for through the TikTok world is my Disney TTC hack. So being a local, you have to park at TTC to go to Magic Kingdom. And we all know that adds on so much extra time. And so while the time aspect is still going to be relevant, it will take you about the same amount of time. You're going to be dealing with a lot less people if you use the walkway to go through Polynesian and just hop on a boat and ride over from the Polynesian. For us, again, it's not necessarily the time factor. It's more so it minimizes the chaos of all of the hordes of people getting on the monorail or the ferry. So that's one that I've been told numerous times, especially by people who have PTSD or, social anxiety, that it really has helped them like start their day off and end their day more calm.
Yeah, definitely. And that's I find a lot of value in your podcast, but that's like the one thing that I really find value in. Both Amber and I have family members on the spectrum. And I remember you had an episode, I don't remember the guest, but you were talking about what's the best way to, what are the best rides? What's the best way to get around the park for the day for somebody on the spectrum? And that is why I love your content, because you're always just bringing stuff that not everybody brings to the table.
Oh, thanks. I like to say I have non-Googleable advice.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
A lot of the stuff that I focus on, I also say like I hyper focus on a certain topic, because I feel like for me, I am such a planner that I need to know all of the little details. And so for me, it's just important to provide those things on top of, a neurodivergent family member or child that you're dealing with in the parks too. One little thing can completely change their and your experience. So that means a lot to me, because there are some days where I do get a little self-conscious getting so personal.
No, you're helping. You're helping a lot of people. So you have your own podcast, as I've mentioned several times here. Yeah. So what inspired you to start the podcast?
I like to talk. And that's a benefit of having ADHD, right? Is we're just kind of always on the go. And it was a really good outlet for me to share my knowledge and to connect with people when I was living out of state. It was a challenge, I would say, to feel connected to Disney living out of state until I did my podcast. And I'm sure you guys can agree with that.
Yes. Cool. Okay. So we're just going to wrap the questions up with some rapid fire. So you can just say the first thing that comes to your mind. So what is your favorite Disney attraction?
Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind.
Oh, okay. Favorite Disney food?
Okay. If we're talking meal, Topolino's hands down. It's my go-to, whether it's the character breakfast or dinner. And then snack, Dole Whip.
Oh, yes, that's my favorite. Solid. Favorite Disney park?
Epcot.
Mine too. Favorite Disney movie?
This one's tough. I get asked this question so much and I never have like a solid answer. I've even like written in journal entries like, what's my favorite movie?
What's your favorite right now?
Halloween Town, I think, is just kind of like my go-to. Honestly, I would watch it any time of the year.
We love Halloween Town.
I know, your last podcast episode I loved listening to.
I'm pretty sure I have all three on DVD. I found like the 3-pack at Target back a few years ago.
What? That's a rarity.
I didn't know this.
I know. Okay, favorite Disney character?
Jasmine.
Favorite Disney villain?
Maleficent.
Yeah. Nice. That's Amber's favorite.
I love her.
And favorite Disney park show or parade?
Happily Ever After.
Cute.
Hands down. It's the first one that I ever saw. So for me, that was, and same with my daughter. It's the first one she ever saw. So we got to share that together.
Oh,
that's
sweet. So sweet. Hey, Amber.
Hey, Kylie.
Have you been on our website lately?
You mean our really awesome website that will show you where you can stream the podcast?
That one. Not only can you stream from the site and see all the platforms you stream on, but you can also take fun Disney-themed quizzes and even grab our itineraries and scavenger hunts for the parks.
What? We have all that?
Duh. We got to give the people what they want.
Go visit our website, twofingerpointpodcast.com. That's the number 2 spelled out. TWO, twofingerpointpodcast.com for all the good stuff.
Move in to our 2 finger points. So we're going to be sharing our unpopular opinions or controversial thoughts. So Amber, what is yours?
I feel like this is like a relevant current topic. So I feel like Life Size with Lindsay Lohan and Tyra Banks was the original Barbie movie. I feel like that movie walked so that the now Barbie movie can run. And low key, I think it had a little bit of a better plot. That's just from me because I've already seen the movie. But I don't know, something about the dynamic between Lindsay Lohan and Tyra Banks. It was so good.
Yes. Have you seen it, Melissa? Have you seen the new Barbie?
I haven't seen the new one.
Okay.
Again.
We won't spoil
we were
it.
going to, and then we backed out. No, I would agree that no matter what, I think Life Size is more approachable for all ages, where I've heard the Barbie movie is not. But also, how can we watch Life Size? I have been trying to figure this out.
Thank you. No, it's nowhere. I've been Googling, like, where can I find this? Where can I watch it? It's nowhere to be found. And I'm so just disappointed because it was originally ABC Family, right? And then it came to Disney later on. Mm-hmm. But now no streaming service has it anywhere. So shout out to Disney.
We can't bootleg it from YouTube.
I haven't tried that far, but I should. I'll send you the link if I find it.
I found one old movie on YouTube that I've been meaning to sit there and make my husband watch it. It's My Date with the President's Daughter.
Yes. Such a classic.
It's on there. The quality is very questionable, but I feel like we've seen it. We know what's going on.
Wasn't the quality already questionable because it was an older movie? So I mean, like, quality of
that's what I mean. I'm pretty sure someone stuck a VHS tape in and uploaded it somehow. Is what it looks like.
As long as it's visible, I'm happy.
Yeah, Life Size was a good movie, and I think it just had a great kind of message for young girls in the sense of, she had just lost her mom, and this was an older woman that could, set an example for her, and really kind of was what Barbie is trying to be. Like, she had all these jobs she could do and was always happy.
That was just such a classic movie. They made a second one, wasn't it, in like 2020 or something? It was pretty recent. I never saw it.
I believe that one's on Disney Plus. I haven't seen it either, though.
I will not ruin the first one with the second one until I can see the first one again. And I say ruin, but I won't, or maybe not ruin. That's probably wrong language. I won't watch it and enjoy it or for what it is until I can see the original again.
Yes. Okay, we're on a mission.
I want to add that obviously, like, Disney's getting a lot of heat right now for not being original to itself. Like, they're just recreating their older movies or whatever. But I will say, as you guys were kind of breaking it down, I have a terrible memory. So all I know is I liked the movie. That's really about the extent of my memory of it. But as you guys were refreshing my memory of the plot of it, it really reminds me of Enchanted.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does have similarities.
Just the way you were describing it, which I also loved Enchanted.
So great.
But just speaking of, like, lost mom, she lost her mom. There's this woman who was a fictional character, who came in, who was always super bubbly and happy. And they just are very parallel in that sense.
Right.
Totally. I forgot about Enchanted.
That one was on repeat for a while in our house.
It's a good one, though.
That's a good one. I remember it was on Disney Channel. Maybe Eric remembers it because he's a little older. But it was this girl lost her mom, and there was a mannequin in a store, and she like wishes for a mom or something, and the mannequin comes to life. I'll have to look it up, but that just unlocked that memory.
It's really bizarre if you think about it.
It's a recurring storyline. Okay, so with what you just brought up actually ties in my 2-finger point for this week. So I'd like to start seeing more movies based off of rides. We have Pirates, we have Indiana Jones. Now we've had Haunted Mansion twice now, but I'd like to see maybe some like Small World or Space Mountain. I feel like they could put a cool story behind that one. That's what I'm wanting. That's my hot take for this week.
I love it.
Yeah, here's an interesting hot take. Small World horror movie. Could be interesting just because there's like the creep. I know, now hear me out, because Small World is kind of creepy, right? We've got these animatronics that are all kind of singing at the same time. There's a creepy aspect to it. I feel like, what about Small World After Dark or something like that?
Gosh. I feel like that would make it worse for me.
We'll never ride the ride again after that.
Yeah, I think there's so many rides that don't really have much that I would like to see more storyline behind.
Well, especially
I'm full
to the
on
point
board with that.
Yeah, well, especially with the point of like us recreating, like you said, they're recreating the old Disney. Well, if we're on that train, why not just do it with rides, like recreate like an origin story for a ride or whatever it could be, you know?
Yeah. So Disney, get on it.
What one would you want to see first?
I feel like they could do a lot with Space Mountain.
Yeah. It could be interesting. I'm on this horror. I want to see the horror movie of Small World. I'm interested in that now. Now that I have the vision for it, I would love to see what they could do with it.
How about you, Melissa? What's a ride you'd want to see a movie based off?
That's a great question. I am loving this, you guys. I also agree. For me, especially having ridden the rides first and then seeing the movies like Pirates of the Caribbean, I have such like an attachment to it. Same with Haunted Mansion, which, by the way, if you guys haven't seen the new one, it is phenomenal.
Okay. We gotta see it.
We did make it to the theaters for that one. My daughter almost didn't go, and she's probably really regretting going. No, I know she is. She didn't sleep that night. Honestly, it's so tough because there's so many great attractions, but I would really like to see something from Magic Kingdom on Big Thunder Railroad. I really like.
Oh my goodness.
I just feel like they could do like a really good, like child-friendly Western film. You know, Indiana Jones is still a little mature for kids. I feel like that would be a fun one to do with that's like more family friendly.
Oh, that's a brilliant idea. I'd watch that.
Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully we'll see them coming soon.
We're giving them all the ideas. Obviously, they're listening to our podcast. So, I mean, coming soon. I'm just kidding.
All right. So, Melissa, do you have any like unpopular opinions you argue with your friends on or anything that you want to share?
You know, I'm sure there's so many. I just can't pinpoint anything. Yeah. I think when it comes to resorts in particular, especially because now we're experiencing the resorts by choice, not because we need to stay at a resort. Mm-hmm. You know, we're choosing to do a staycation. We experience the resorts very differently. And I will take this to my grave. Coronado Springs is superior to even many of the deluxe resorts. And a lot of people will disagree with me, partially because they've never experienced it before. But I'm obsessed with it. And I think that that's a really like unpopular opinion when it comes to like the Walt Disney World parks in general.
So I'm not too familiar with Coronado Springs. And I know a lot of the resorts. I stayed at, it was one of the all-star ones, I believe. I think it's the movie one. But I know most of them, you're very like almost walking in a cartoon or whatever. It's highly themed. So what is that one? What stands out for you at Coronado Springs?
Nothing, which is why I like it. So it's very much like Riviera, where you barely see Disney plastered everywhere, which I think is, my husband isn't necessarily the biggest Disney fan. He loves to go because I love to go. But when it comes to like a full family experience, it's just got a little bit more maturity there, with subtle nods to the mouse, right? And I think that's why I love it. I will also kind of expand upon it. So a lot of my friends love the Skyliner resorts, and I will never stay at a Skyliner resort. I think that the price is exceeds the value, partially because, again, I'm local. I see that Skyliner down almost every single time I'm at the parks. So to me, to pay that money to not be able to have access to it,
Right.
it just isn't worth it. But again, my average of that happening is a lot higher than somebody else's.
Right.
So Coronado feels a lot like the Four Seasons. Have you guys been to the Four Seasons in Disney World?
No, but I've worked in hotels, so I kind of.
But yes,
I
the
have
Four
an idea.
Seasons name, like you're like, okay,
Yeah.
that's nice, classy. Yeah, so it's really classy. I think the things that I like that for me make it superior to especially a monorail deluxe resort is when you walk in, there's not mobs of sweaty people sleeping on couches. It's still really, it's super classy. It's clean. Of course it's Disney. It smells nice. I think the biggest like hate that it gets is because it only has bus access. And I used to be one of those people. Trust me. I used to never want to stay at a bus only resort until I experienced Coronado.
Wow. That says a lot.
It does.
So everybody who's planning to go to Disney, look into Coronado Springs. Or don't. Let Melissa enjoy her resort.
Right, though.
Absolutely.
Don't.
Well, a fun fact is that you can typically get Coronado for less than you would pay for Art of Animation or Pop Century, which are technically both value resorts. So,
oh, wow.
Take it for what you want.
Yeah. I'm usually a gal who will go sleep off the property for a little cheaper. In Orlando, I typically would go to the Sheraton.
The Sheraton, is that it's kind of like off in its own little pocket, right? I'm trying to think of which one.
I wish I could remember the name of the street because we lived right off of it on the other side of the floor. But it's just outside of the Disney property. I know there's an IHOP over there, and our Taco Bell was over there. I don't know if it's still there.
Oh my God, you've got a good memory. I'm sitting here like racking my brain. I'm like,
I mean, it has boomed. I mean, so much has gone up. I couldn't tell you, but I feel like I've stayed at the Sheraton before as well.
Probably.
Because I challenged myself very often to see how cheap I could fly down to Disney, and I always had to top myself each time. So
yes, and it's a good hotel. At least it was in 2014 when I stayed there.
Okay.
All right, so we've got our game, and so Amber and I both wanted to get on the fun, so you'll get to play 2 rounds, one against each of us. So we're going to do bad Disney titles. So we've taken Disney movies and just gave them the wrong title, and so we'll compete against each other to see if we can decrypt what it is.
Okay. This is so cool.
okay, who wants to go first? Do you want to be who wants to go first? Me or you?
You guys can go first? Yeah, because I don't know. Maybe give me like a trial round of how this works.
Okay, so for example, like basically I'll give you the title with like different words, and you guys are gonna have to guess what the name of the title is. So I'll give you guys an easy one. This one's just one word. It's iced.
Frozen.
So yeah, so it's just going to be just like changing words in the title, basically.
Love it.
Okay. So, how many do you have, Kylie?
I have 4.
You have 4. Okay, I just put a bunch just in case, like we overlapped it all.
Okay.
Okay. So, the next one. Okay, so we'll have you guys both go then. I'll give 3 then, since I gave away one of mine. So first one, napping pretty.
Oh, Sleeping Beauty.
Sleeping Beauty.
Okay, so how do we want to do a point system since you both got it right? Is it just like a point each?
Or we don't even need to play for points.
Okay, great. We didn't discuss our point system, so it doesn't matter. Okay. So the forest novel.
Oh, The Jungle Book. Right? Okay.
Okay. And then so I'm gonna give one to Melissa. So Melissa.
Okay.
This one is The Feline Monarch.
This one's a tough one. I'm assuming it's something butterfly.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Feline monarch.
This one was a little bit
pass.
tougher.
I'll pass on this one.
Okay, Kylie?
Lion King.
Lion King. Okay.
Oh.
It's okay. We'll give you that one was a little bit tough. We'll give you a different one. Okay.
Because my head went to butterflies right away too, but I know
Monarch. I know.
Amber hates butterflies.
I do. I'm sorry. I'm like of the population. I get out of here. But to be fair, so just a quick side note. They do. So we have monarchs out here, and like I'll go on my walk, just like, my mental health walk in the middle of the day, and they just like come flying at my face, and I'm like, we need to be friends. What's going on? And it's still happening, by the way.
Oh no.
Have you Googled why this happens to you? This is concerning.
I haven't, but I feel like I should. Maybe I'm the problem. Okay. So for Melissa, Beast LLC.
Monsters Inc.
Yes. Yay. Okay, awesome. Okay.
Okay, so I did mine a little different. I just kind of summarized it.
Oh.
So it'll be a little different, but it still should be
part
fine.
2.
Yeah. Okay, so my first one is spotty fashion.
101 Dalmatians.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, my second one is monkey business.
Oh, I'm between 2 movies.
I had one in mind, and then I thought of 2, and I'm like, I'll just give either one.
I guess I'll guess. Is it Jungle Book?
It was Jungle Book, yeah.
Okay.
And I was thinking, I guess that could be Tarzan as well, but
yeah,
my thought was Jungle Book. Okay, third one, magical family.
Encanto?
Yep. Encanto.
Oh, I was gonna say Incredibles, but that's not magic.
Singing Strays.
Is that Oliver and Company?
It is.
I love that movie.
I was gonna say Aristocats.
Oh, that's another good
but they're
one
not
too.
strays technically.
Well,
I guess that's true.
Yeah, I guess not.
They evolve through life a little differently.
Yes.
They become strays, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for our game. Before we go, Melissa, if you want to tell our listeners where they can find you everywhere.
Absolutely. So right now I have TikTok and Instagram. It's Melissa in the Magic. And you can find my podcast on Apple and Spotify. It's Magic Monorails Podcast. I do also have a small shop on Etsy and hopefully soon to be expanding that. I'm really excited. It's Magic Monorails Co. I currently make straw toppers and some fun Disney inspired cups. Yes, girl.
We have the straw toppers.
I have some really fun embroidered merch that I'll be releasing. So since I'm no longer an ear girly, I've been wearing a lot of baseball caps, and I feel like I've worn the same cap for the last 3 months. So I've been coming up with some fun designs of my own, and why not wear my own merch, right?
Right.
There you go.
Yes. Let us know when that comes out. Definitely want to get some.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining, and thank you everyone for listening. We will catch you next week on Two Finger Point Tuesday.
Thank you for listening to Two Finger Point, hosted by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Created by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Produced by Amber Omar. Engineered by Kylie Salmon. Social media managed by Kylie Salmon. Content created by Amber Omar and Kylie Salmon. Stay connected with us by following us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube at Two Finger Point Podcast, with the number 2 spelled out TWO. You can also contact us by visiting our website at twofingerpointpodcast.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast to have new episodes automatically downloaded to your device, or to get alerts of our new episodes on YouTube. We'd greatly appreciate you rating and reviewing the podcast as well. You could be selected to have your review read on the podcast, like this review here from our friend Zoe. My Disney Podcast Fix. Amber and Kylie have put together the perfect podcast about all things Disney. Love to hear their banter, their opinions, their recommendations, and I love following along with their quiz at the end of each episode. You know it's a good podcast when you find yourself chiming in. Listening to them every week has me feeling connected to the parks, even when I'm far away. Thanks, ladies. And thank you, Zoe, for your kind review. We will catch you next Tuesday for our next episode, but until then, have a magical day.